Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how to boost your child's sense of self-confidence and their sense of self-worth. And I'm going to share with you some do's and don'ts, some things that you should do that will really help your child feel more confident, have, an increased sense of self-worth, and some don'ts, things that we all have a tendency to do as parents, things that I have done myself in the past, but that actually don't help at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. They might really hurt your child's sense of self-confidence. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Soraya. I'm a mother of two beautiful children. And here on this channel, I'm all about children empowerment, social emotional learning, mindful parenting. And so if these are topics you're interested in, I would love for you to subscribe. Please make sure you hit that notification bell so that you never miss one of my videos. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first mistake that I have done in the past and that I think us parents do a lot is overpraising our children, and especially praising some traits. For example, saying things like, "You're so smart, you're so clever, you're such a good girl." And the problem with that, as Carol Dweck, who wrote this book called Mindset, Changing the Way You Think to Fulfill Your Potential, she's done extensive research on the effect that overpraising does on children, and she's found that actually it really hurts their sense of self-confidence, but also it leads to a fixed mindset. So the idea is that there are two types of mindset that we can have. We can have a fixed mindset where basically we are afraid of failure and we don't want to take on new challenges or try new things because we are so afraid of not living up to expectations and standards that we would rather not try at all. And so this leads us into a state of complete paralysis where we won't progress as much in our personal and professional life because of this fixed mindset. And then there's a growth mindset where we see failure and mistakes and setbacks as an opportunity to learn and grow and as a full part of the process. Failure is a part of the process in order to succeed, because in order to be successful and to find the best way that works, you've first got to go through all of the ways that don't work. And so this is having a growth mindset. And the problem with constantly telling our children, "You're so smart, you're so clever, you're such a good boy, you're such a good girl," is that it puts so much pressure on them to live up to this high expectation and to live up to that standard. And as Carol Dweck puts it, success means that you're smart and failure means that you're dumb. This is what children end up thinking. And so when they think like this, they become crippled with fear, and so they will start to have this fixed mindset where they don't want to take on new challenges and they're afraid of taking risks. And so this is definitely not something that we want. Instead, something that you should do is praise the process. So instead of praising the result, praise the effort. Encourage your child, praise them for trying hard, praise them for, trying again, even if they had a setback or they made a mistake the first time. Praise them for all of the effort they put into the work and encourage them to keep trying and keep learning and to learn from their mistakes. Which leads me to my next point, which is don't overprotect your child and don't constantly come to their rescue. Failure is a part of growing up and it's a part of learning. But the problem is that we as parents will feel so protective. We don't want our children to be disappointed. We don't want them to cry. And so you see this all the time. You'll see a child building a block and then it falls and the child starts crying and the mother runs to them and is like, "Oh, let's put it back together. See, let's build this together. Quick, quick, quick." And then she rescues the child and then the child feels better. But by doing this, she's basically preventing the child from having the opportunity to develop that growth mindset where they learn to take risks, they learn to, see mistakes as learning opportunities and see setbacks as learning opportunities. And so this overprotection really isn't helping the child develop a strong sense of self-confidence in the long run. What you want is really your child to feel comfortable with setbacks, to feel comfortable with disappointment, because this will push them to try harder, and they will know that, setbacks do not reflect their mental abilities. Setbacks do not mean that they are stupid and that they will never get anywhere, and setbacks are not the end of it. But the only way for them to learn that is by experiencing it. So, the next time your child's stacks of tower of blocks falls over, or the next time they're crying because they're frustrated about something that they can't do, don't rush to help and do instead of them. Don't rescue them. Don't overprotect them from that disappointment. Let them experience it. Let them experience the frustration of trying to do something and not being able to do, and then overcome it and succeed, because this is the real learning experience for them. Which leads me to my next point, which is be patient with your child's development. The hard part to not being overprotective and not rescuing our children is that it requires us being patient. And patience is something that we lack of. And to come to our defense as parents, it's hard, because life, when you're a parent, goes so quickly. You've got to get places quickly, you've got to get ready quickly, you've got so much going on, and you're just trying to tick all the boxes, and you're trying to get it all done, and it can be really overwhelming. And so waiting for your child to try for 20 minutes to figure it out how to put their socks on can be a little bit stressful, to say the least. And so I'm the first one to raise my hand and to say, I have made that mistake. I have been in a rush, and so I have jumped in to help my child. And so by doing that, I have come to her rescue, and I have prevented her from learning, And so it's really important to be patient with our children, not only to let them try, let them struggle, let them go through the process of learning and figuring things out by themselves, but also being patient with our children's development. All children are different. All children grow and develop at different pace, but also all children have different interests. And so some children might be more interested in emotional intelligence and developing language, whereas other children will be more interested in gross motor skills. And so where a child might start to walk faster, another child may start to talk faster and make complete sentences faster. So have patience and compassion for your child, and know that it takes the time that it takes, and you don't need to rush them, and you don't need to become overwhelmed and stressed out when your friend's child or another kid at playgroup reaches a milestone before your child does, and when it seems like your child is still so far away from reaching that milestone. It's okay. If you're really worried, you can check with a medical professional, but in most cases, your child will get there eventually. Give them the time to figure it out by themselves. The next thing is, don't condemn your child with self-fulfilling prophecies. What do I mean by that? When you use words that become labels for your child, for example, saying, you're so lazy, for example, saying, you're so difficult, for example, saying, you're such a bad sleeper, you're putting labels on your child, and you are effectively talking about their character rather than talking about a behavior when you're doing that. And the problem is that when you do that, your child, who is still very young and who doesn't yet have the ability to differentiate between what you say in a moment of anger and frustration and what is the reality, will accept this label, will internalize this label, and will start to behave accordingly. So if you keep telling your child that they're lazy, why would they behave differently? Why would they even try to prove you wrong? Because you seem to already have decided that they are. And this is the principle of self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a prophecy that fulfills itself. If you tell a child that they're difficult, then they are going to be difficult because you're not giving them any choice. So be mindful of your words, because your words have power. And this leads me to my very last point, which is, do love your child the way they are. Of course, we all love our children, but what I mean by that is that Sometimes when we're pregnant, expecting a baby, and when our baby is just born, we have all these dreams in our head about what our child will be like, what we will enjoy doing together, how we want them to grow up, what we want them to be when they become adults. And so we have all of these dreams that we place on our child, and sometimes we become frustrated when our child isn't exactly like the child we wish we had. And this may sting a little, but this is a reality, is that you've got to love your child the way they are. You've got to love the child that you have in front of you, and stop thinking about the child you wish you had. Stop thinking things like, I wish you were a better sleeper. I wish you were a more quiet child. I wish my child was calmer. I wish my child didn't run around all the time. Stop wishing, start enjoying what's right there in front of you. And I know there are many challenges in parenthood, and there are many moments when you can feel overwhelmed with some behavior, but remember that many behaviors are, especially bad behavior, a lot of the time are a call for help, which means that your child actually needs you to step in and support them emotionally in a hard moment. But also they are a normal part of children's development. Things like tantrum are completely normal for a toddler to have. And you shouldn't be wishing that they don't happen is useless, because it's such a normal part of development. You can't avoid it. So really focus on showing your child love and compassion, and appreciating the little human that they are, with all of their complexity, with their good and bad sides, and all of the amazing wonders that God has put inside of your child. And please take a moment to think about when you were a child, moments when you have felt such a sense of low self-esteem or of low self-worth. What would have made it better? Take some time to reflect upon that, and let me know in the comments below, what did you wish had happened in your childhood that would really have boosted your sense of self-confidence? And I think just taking the time to think about that really opens our eyes to ways that we can be better parents to our children and boost their own sense of self-confidence and self-worth. I hope that you have found this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video.